Test, test, 1, 2, 3. I don't even give a fuck. Long range. No, wait. Yeah, what the hell does ER even mean? Two. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. 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 Mm-mm.
Cleared for takeoff runway 29, Keflavik Tower. Keflavik Tower, Roger. Cleared for takeoff runway 29, call sign. Approaching 11. Approaching 29. detected. Autopilot disengaged.
So it's probably going to start its last and final descent. Seriously though, I see terrain. I literally see terrain. I'm not even diving into the ocean. See literal terrain. I see terrain.
Bank angle. Bank angle. 10,000.
Okay. Now I'm gonna test it on. I'm gonna try and fly on a. Hold on. I'm gonna go get some ice cream now. Hold on.
Oh boy, you guys are not gonna like this one. I just installed iOS 26 Beta 3 on my iPhone, and Apple basically folded. They pretty much scrapped the whole liquid glass UI. Remember that ultra glossy sci-fi looking interface from Beta 1 and Beta 2? Yeah, that's gone. In Beta 3, they replaced it with a frosted look instead. It honestly feels and looks like a $1.99 theme off the Galaxy Store. And let's be real, this was probably Apple reacting to all the backlash. A lot of people hated the liquid glass glassy UI look. Plus, it was way too resource intensive. Older iPhones were already struggling, and even the newer ones weren't as smooth. So instead of doubling down, they just played it safe. I personally love the glass UI, so what do you think? Did Apple make the right call?
Spirit, your jet looks like a McDonald's Happy Meal toy.
Well, your mom thinks it's adorable.
In my country, you'd be used to scare birds off runway.
At least I'm not a flying barn.
Focus. We need visual on that unidentified aircraft now.
No sign of target. This guy's playing hide and seek.
I'll crank up my light. It'll draw them out.
Last I checked, military jets were supposed to be stealth, not glowing billboards.
I've got visual on a Russian spy plane.
Spirit, confirm the coordinates.
No way that banana jet beat us. Spirit, your jet looks like a McDonald's Happy Meal toy.
Well, your mom thinks it's
There's something bad about to happen to me. There's something
Can airplanes fall out of the sky? Although rare, an airplane could enter a stall, which means the wing's angle of attack is too high. To put it simply, the airplane could be pitching up too much, flying too slow, or maybe ice is building up on the wing. Generally speaking, stall recoveries simply require that the nose is lowered, power is added, and the wings are kept level. And assuming you aren't too low to the ground, the recovery shouldn't be an issue. The same goes for spins, although they have a different recovery procedure. The only time you're really screwed is if your wings fall off. Can airplanes fall out of the sky? Although rare, an airplane could enter a stall, which means—
Do you know what 6'7" is?
My son told me the other day, people go around saying 6'7". Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Do you want to be in the edit?
Yeah, sure.
So to do it, you're going to be like 6'7".
What am I juggling?
Nothing.
Okay, cool. 6'7".
Do you know what 6'7" is?
My
Can I See you as my crush. I will not trust. Tell you for I don't want love. That would
Ahlelele, ahlelas. Ahlelele, ahlelas. Ahlelele, ahlelas.
Put this in reverse and tell me what song you hear.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
Bank angle. Bank angle. Bank angle.
I'm recreating major plane crashes with my most realistic ever Lego build, but this time we are going exactly where the disasters happen. I have never traveled this much for a video, but this experience turned out much more emotional and chilling than I ever expected. Oh wait, this can't be a piece of the plane. Imagine the largest airliner of the 80s disintegrating over towns in the UK. What's most unsettling to me about going to Lockerbie is that this was the biggest crime scene in the world. Due to a change in wind patterns, Pan Am Flight 103 flew further over Scotland, leaving a trail of evidence that was meant to vanish into the Atlantic. And we're not just recreating crashes in the UK, because how did I travel all over Europe with a meter-long Concorde and this even bigger Soviet passenger beast? Oh, but these weigh nothing compared to this mighty structure of a larger 747 I'm designing. I've remastered this so many times before, so is it possible to perfect this sharp-angled wing design? Well, I'm surprised I might have enough parts to create my longest, most substantial 747 fuselage. Oh yes, this is not just a rebuild of my Tenerife Pan Am, but a cooler step up in scale. Geez, I can already see how guilty I'll feel destroying this beauty, and remember, I'm going to recreate a violent mid-air breakup, so we need to deck out the Clipper with dense galleys, extreme seating capacity, and even toilet units, all to come down in the real Lockerbie, like the real crash, which is pretty crazy to think about, because all these details like the realistic engines and even an upper deck aim to add to the accuracy and truth of one of my most daunting recreations, all adding to our respect towards the victims of the infamous Clipper Maid of the Seas, and those who were never even meant by the bomb makers to be part of this tragedy, the 11 lives taken in Lockerbie, which is where we're heading now. Straight north of the British Isles, all because of a chain of evil that caused the biggest UK plane crash. Now nothing could stop the detonation as Flight 103 pulls its 239 occupants and its bomb out of the void of the longest winter night, December 21st, as it climbed to enter cruise altitude at Pole Hill VOR, located just east of Burnley, where the captain reduced thrust for the flight to New York just 8 minutes before disintegration. For an enhanced viewing experience, I'll reconstruct the accident sequence in daylight for you, as the Lockerbie road signs indicate the journey's almost over for both me and the Clipper. The beauty of this landscape is about to deteriorate. We entered the town seeing typical housing estates that almost felt surreal, entirely because of the history held where I'm stood. But the destruction was most nightmarish at Sherwood Crescent. It feels most unreal visiting where this world-famous horror scene was engraved into history. Today, it's a calm memorial garden, a contrasting shadow of what my greatest Lego 747 is about to endure. Tucked in the side of the forward fuselage at the side of the container is the radio filled with a mere 400 grams of explosives, but the cargo hold magnifies the blast. cabin power and the CBR are instantly cut as shockwaves destroy the forward air brake. Clouds of debris impact the fan blades and 3 seconds have passed when the front brakes off and deflects to the right, striking engine 3 and detaching it from its pylon. The sickening loss of pressure and hurricane force winds make many victims unconscious and disintegrate the unstable structures. Within 5 seconds, the violent left roll intensifies and becomes a vertical dive at a still dizzying 19,000 feet. Fluttering of the rudder splits the stabilizer, causing heavy yaws left to right, which separates all remaining engines. These forces induced by the yaws separate the back of the plane, and the air becomes breathable at 9,000 feet when 60 feet of fuselage splits off, leaving the full wings and 40 feet of passenger aisles to impact the place where we stood, the largest crash site in the UK, which I will try to perfectly recreate. The flight crew fall in and out of consciousness as the nose descends miles away onto Tundergarth Hill, the most famous part of the Maid's wreckage. It lay visible from the church and a farm from where an ex-midwife comes to find a flight attendant with a weak pulse. Then unfortunately came the most powerful impact in Lockerbie, covering the whole of Sherwood Crescent, so we can't just have a couple of semi-detached Scottish homes. I'm building my best scale replica of the entire street, with home designs like they were before the bombing. After 46 unbearable seconds, the 747 fuselage completely disintegrated with 3 homes. Carrying all the fuel needed to reach New York, the fuel tanks ignited fireballs, reaching terrible heights and engulfing all surrounding homes, burning their roofs to ashes. Sherwood Crescent was now an uninhabitable environment, and another street was also in danger, as the 60-foot aft cabin section holding 61 passengers was about to impact this terrace on Rosebank Crescent. So with 11 ground fatalities at Sherwood, was the bombing about to take many more? Here I've recreated the 4 Rosebank homes, giving this corner one a full interior, which the raining debris is about to expose. The wreckage here is extreme, but the residents of this home narrowly survived, and there was no fuel here to burn. But with 270 lives lost at December 1988, this remains the worst UK terror attack. Recreating crashes where they happened is a lot more complicated if I fly to another country. The USSR, they just created the world's largest airliner, calling it the Ilyushin Il-62, but lots Polish airlines pilots would soon call them flying coffins. Yes, this one I'm making was Poland's very first Il-62, and you'll soon notice the feature that makes this plane unusually intimidating. But how did 2 of these crash for a concerningly similar reason, both in the 1980s? So with this giant tail, let's leave the country. No, not on a Jet2 holiday, but on board this Ryanair 737 as we blast our way out of England, and 2 hours later I'm in the nation where I somehow have to build these planes from scratch to later visit the crash sites and destroy my builds. But it was this manufacturing by the Soviet Union that led to many of the 23 Il-62 crashes. A neglected mistake in this one exposed how dangerous these planes really were. With a full interior and this intricate nose design, this is almost as accurate as possible, even with this clean custom back, where the most iconic but also most dangerous parts of this plane are mounted. Before Lot's first Il-62 was delivered, a tool had left a deep scratch on a shaft that supports the turbines in engine 2. With every heavy flight, the cracks expanded at takeoff power, so the whole engine structure became more and more unstable, until one flight to Warsaw, a city that's 6 hours away from my apartment, but let's accept the challenge anyway. At 4 AM on an arid August morning, we set off to exhaust this hire car, and as a Polish person, this trip through the whole country was very magnificent. And so were the winter views from Lot's Flight 007, because it's time for it to descend onto Warsaw. After the long flight from New York, its 87 occupants are oblivious of the danger as the landing gear extends, because from the crew's perspective, they might have to prepare for a belly landing as the gear position light has not illuminated. They need to know whether it's extended, so allow the ATC to look at it as they increase the engines to full go-around power. The corroded engine shaft is forced past its limit. The turbine disc disintegrates, shooting rapid debris into the engine beside the failed one, destroying it too and causing asymmetric thrust, which veers the plane to the right. They attempt to level out, but a turbine fragment had penetrated the fuselage and severed control rods connecting to wall stabilizers. The fragment had then struck engine 3, depriving the plane of even more power, causing a descent and a pitch down which no controls could pull it out of. It was now about to impact the Alcantia Fort. Well, it's a moat of water around a business park that says it's private property. So let's quickly recreate this image where the IL-62 first impacted, but severed this wing part, which sent it into a greater roll, barely clipping the buildings and crashing onto the side of the 19th century moat structure. Well, I suppose it's most accurate if I also recreate the final impact in the water. Beside it is this large commemorative brick structure with Art of the Disaster on the back. Lot 007 disintegrated on the back before it plunged.
Hot dog tastes different.
Yes, I just cleaned out the machine, sir. So the snack you are enjoying has not been soaking in putrid grease.
Oh, yeah, but without the grease, all you can taste is the hog anus.
I'm so sorry, but I sold it all to the rendering plant.
Used grease is worth money? Okay, this bacon's done. And now for the profit taking.
Dad, I don't think the dog can handle any more bacon.
Okay, boy, this is where all the hard work, sacrifice, and painful scaldings pay off.
That comes to 63 cents.
Woohoo! Dad, all that bacon cost $27.
Yeah, but your mom paid for that.
When you want grease, go to the source. Good old Krusty Burger. Mom's gonna kill you.
If she didn't want her car ruined, she should have done a better job hiding her keys. This hot dog tastes different.
Yes, I just cleaned out the machine, sir. So the snack you are enjoying has not been soaking in putrid grease.
Oh, yeah, but without the grease, all you can taste is the hog anus.
I'm so sorry, but I sold it all to the rendering plant.
Used grease is worth money? Okay, this bacon's done. And now for the profit taking.
Dad, I don't think the dog can handle any more bacon.
Okay, boy, this is where all the hard work, sacrifice, and painful scaldings pay off.
That comes to 63 cents.
Woohoo! Dad, all that bacon cost $27.
Yeah, but your mom paid for that.
When you want grease, go to the source. Good old Krusty Burger. Mom's gonna kill you.
If she didn't want her car ruined, she should have done a better job hiding her keys. This hot dog tastes different.
Yes, I just cleaned out the machine, sir. So the snack you are enjoying has not been soaking in putrid grease.
Oh, yeah, but without the grease, all you can taste is the hog anus.
I'm so sorry, but I sold it all to the rendering plant.
Used grease is worth money? Okay, this bacon's done. And now for the profit taking.
Dad, I don't think the dog can handle any more bacon.
Okay, boy, this is where all the hard work, sacrifice, and painful scaldings pay off.
That comes to 63 cents.
Woohoo! Dad, all that bacon cost $27.
Yeah, but your mom paid for that.
When you want grease, go to the source.
Here's all the removed skins from the Slasher update. FYI, a lot of these skins are meant to come out in a later update. JX1DX1, Demise, Meta, Madness. Here's what the skin actually looks like. Pumpkin Spice, Craftsicar, Do Guitar, Team Beacon, Overseer, Z-Day, Bazooka, Toy Builder Man, Barbarian, Bombo, Inception Centurion, Venus Flytrap, Roblox You Scoundrel, Mouse, Laffy, Donald P. Sullivan, Barista, World Investigator, Hilton, Aubrey, Little Nightmare, Innovation, Steampunk, Series, Picnic Date, Courier, Usher, Two-Sided, Toy Elliott, and Kevin Slasher. Subscribe! Here's all the removed skins from the Slasher update. FYI, a lot of these skins are meant to come out in a later update. JX1DX1, Demise, Meta, Madness. Here's what the skin actually looks like. Pumpkin Spice, Craftsikar, Do Guitar, Team Beacon, Overseer, Z-Day, Bazooka, Toy Builder Man, Barbarian, Bombo, Inception Centurion, Venus Flytrap, Roblox You Scoundrel, Mouse, Laffy, Donald P. Sullivan, Barista, World Investigator,
In this box is the last ever macOS version to be sold as a DVD, macOS 10 Snow Leopard. Does anyone remember Calendar being iCal? One thing that definitely hasn't improved is the icons. Oh, I sure do love how my Mac is becoming more like my phone, and just the internet in general. Oh, I do love a phone's worth of YouTube icons on my 27-inch monitor. Thanks, YouTube. Rant over, back to macOS. Snow Leopard was not the last paid version, that was macOS Mountain Lion. So a rule of thumb, if macOS has a cat in it, they made you pay for it. The first free version was 10.9 Mavericks, and that was when the iPhone had been a thing for 6 whole years, 2013. Snow Leopard was the first macOS version to only support Intel machines, and coming up we're getting macOS Liquid Glass, which is the last version to support Intel machines. We've come a very long way. In this box is the last ever macOS version to be sold as a DVD, macOS 10 Snow Leopard. Does anyone remember Calendar being iCal? One thing that definitely hasn't improved is the icons. Oh, I sure do love how my Mac is becoming more like my phone, and just the internet in general. Oh, I do love a phone's worth of YouTube icons on my 27-inch monitor. Thanks, YouTube. Rant over, back to macOS. Snow Leopard was not the last paid version, that was macOS Mountain Lion. So a rule of thumb, if macOS has a cat in it, they made you pay for it. The first free version was 10.9 Mavericks, and that was when the iPhone had been a thing for 6 whole years, 2013. Snow Leopard was the first macOS version to only support Intel machines, and coming up we're getting macOS Liquid Glass, which is the last version to support Intel machines. We've come a very long way. In this box is the last ever macOS version to be sold as a DVD, macOS 10 Snow Leopard. Does anyone remember Calendar being iCal? One thing that definitely hasn't improved is the icons. Oh, I sure do love how my Mac is becoming more like my phone, and just the internet in general. Oh, I do love a phone's worth of YouTube icons on my 27-inch monitor. Thanks, YouTube. Rant over, back to macOS. Snow Leopard was not the last paid version, that was macOS Mountain Lion. So a rule of thumb, if macOS has a cat in it, they made you pay for it. The first free version was 10.9 Mavericks, and that was when the iPhone had been a thing for 6 whole years, 2013. Snow Leopard was the first macOS version to only support Intel machines, and coming up we're getting macOS Liquid Glass, which is the last version to support Intel machines. We've come a very long
Well, the iPhone turned 21, so we're gonna do another unboxing.
I missed you, baby.
Not again.
You couldn't wait until I turned 18. But now that I'm 21, I can give more than consent.
Couldn't they just add another camera or something?
I booked us a hotel room.
Wait, you can drink?
Don't worry, I'll turn my cameras off. This time.
You're a phone. I'm a human.
2 words, charging port.
Stop saying
Face
that.
ID is not the only thing I can scan.
I'm done. I'm switching to Android.
What did you say? Because I know you wouldn't cheat on me with an Android.
Where'd you get that?
When Discord makes stupid features that annoy people like the microtransaction shop, changing usernames, or locking features behind Discord Nitro, people often look for alternatives to Discord. And the most promising Discord competitor, Gilded, is basically what everyone wanted in Discord. 500 megabyte uploads, free animated emojis, and high quality streaming, all for $0. Everything sounds perfect, but with Gilded's most recent update, I don't think Gilded is going to last. Gilded with all these free features is completely unsustainable. There's a reason why Discord has Discord Nitro. It's because what Gilded is doing right now with all these free features is they're hemorrhaging money. But we had a little bit of a saving grace, because on August 16th, 2021, Roblox purchased Gilded, which on the surface actually seemed like a good thing. Gilded wasn't going to get shut down because it ran out of money, and there was also a whole bunch of press releases both from Gilded and from Roblox talking about the acquisition. Now, the important thing is what they said in these blog posts, because the founder of Gilded, Eli, made a blog post talking about joining Roblox. Most of this blog post is Eli saying, "Thank you, Roblox, for making sure we don't go bankrupt." But the important thing for both
Roblox has
you
banned
and
a Make-A-Wish kid, and that sounds terrible, but let me explain. The user in question is named PiePerson50, and this person is pretty infamous around Roblox for a lot of things. However, before he was known for anything, he was diagnosed with cancer in 2010, and Roblox in 2012, I think, gave him a custom fedora that he requested. However, shortly after, around sometime in 2012, his account was compromised, and he most likely hasn't had access to the account ever since it's been compromised, because this account has been sold multiple times on Roblox black markets, and his items have been gutted for a while. There's also a whole plethora of YouTube videos based on this account about his scamming. However, it's important to know that the Make-A-Wish kid himself has not had anything to do with this. So yes, his account was terminated just a few months ago this year, and as bad as it makes Roblox sound, so
trends are fads that people follow. Watch that as a child. Personally, I would not add that breathe air instead of the stench of your own sweat. I want to make this clear. Gore isn't funny or cool. Scaring kids with mild and scary media is cool. There is a huge difference. Kids.
Under your skin. There are bugs under your skin.
It scares me. It's scaring me.
This is illegal. Do not do this.
What is this? What happened to Bombadilo Crocodile?
Why scary bro?
TikTok is a pit of YouTube Shorts. Its trend is fucking real, some participating in the trend, but added a gruesome scene from the film Terrifier. That film is a very explicit and gory film, and you would not want to watch that as a child. Personally, I would not add that stuff if I was participating in this trend. Not only that, but there are people suggesting for some very disturbing things to be added to these videos, such as real CSAM or cartel videos.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, guys. As someone who has seen...
What the fuck? Okay, I'm just gonna...
Anti-ice off, lights set, takeoff config's okay, lineup checks completed. All yours, Jim. My brakes, my controls. That is weird with no lights. Yeah. V1, rotate. Whoa! Damn it!
Bro. That's okay. What the hell is this? Hold on. I want to see this recent.
Hello, Pookies. Today I will be talking. Wait, before I start,
I'm gonna give you warning. There will be bad words and weird videos. I'm giving this warning cause I don't want people complaining of me saying bad word.
That's just a digital kid. That's just fictional. The real one is not really that fictional. Life's not real. Stop acting like that, bro. What the hell is this? That's exactly what Airfire would say. That's because this is his main account, bro. This is his alt
Stupid
account. This is his alternate account. Yeah, I'm leaking it all. This doesn't even make sense, bro. What the hell? This doesn't even make sense, bro. This shit pissed me off. SpongeBob. SpongeBob. Oh, I'm just looking here. It's bullshit for fun. I don't even know why. Ah. Sing great. Sing great. Sing great. I wonder what this
My high school band teacher and I had one thing in common. We both liked the same girls in our class. This is Mr. PJ. He was the coolest teacher ever until you found out the reason he got fired. So one day we're at band practice and Mr. PJ looks so mad for no reason. So we're like, is everything good, man? You okay? Oh, my girlfriend just broke up with me. I'ma kill her. So he looks really upset, so we're all really concerned for him. But you know, like after a while, he seems to get over it and everything's good again. Until he starts acting really weird, especially around the girls. So we have this choir class and it's all girls except for one dude, right? For punishment, if you sing wrong in that class, he'll make you face the wall and do squats. Can you imagine how awkward that class was? All right, Michelle, you ruined it for everybody else. Everybody face the wall and turn around. But it gets weirder. One day, I'm in drumline class, and the class is only 5 guys and Mr. PJ. So in that class, we're watching a band routine, and my buddy Frank says, "Yo, dude, check out that cymbal girl. She's kind of hot, right?" And I guess Mr. PJ overheard us because he didn't have to say anything, right? He could have said like, "Oh, no, guys, like, focus on the band routine," or said nothing. Nah, this guy said, "Hey, you know our band girls are pretty cute too, huh?" Like, am I right? Whoa, why are you guys looking at me like that? Like, it's not weird. Like, what I'm saying is, I wouldn't do anything to them now. But, you know, like in a couple years when they graduate, I mean, even now, I would, I just can't. It was so bad, bro wasn't even trying to hide it. And that's why it caught up to him. I had this one friend, Sarah. It was pretty well known that Mr. PJ had a little crush on her. So I asked her, hey, has he done anything weird around you? And the thing she told me, this guy made Diddy look like a guardian angel. Bro, he would add her on Snapchat, then slide up and say the most inappropriate things you could possibly say to a child. Lamau, why do you look so young here? You're making me feel old. Oh my god, you look so beautiful. Don't even worry about Monday's test. I already passed you for the year. So of course, after that whole incident, she reported him and they launched an investigation. Once you hear what he did, you'll wonder how he was never locked up. He was sending noodles to one of the girls. She was 15 years old. But it gets worse. He was seeing a girl below our grade level. That's young. Tell me why she would be in his class every day. And this girl didn't even have him as a teacher. 14 years old. But wait, it gets worse. He would show up to her house and spend time with her on the weekends. I don't even want to imagine what they were doing, because I know it's not tutoring. She's not even in his class, because this girl did not even have him as a teacher. And he got away with it for so long, until one day it caught up to him. I'm at lunch and I start hearing rumors about Mr. PJ from the girls. Oh my god, did you hear about Mr. PJ and that girl? Oh my god, yes. I heard he showed up to her house. Oh my god. I know they've been texting all weekend and that she's always in his class after school. Girl, I heard they smashed. Oh my gosh, shut up. She might hear you. Oh, she's right there. So we show up to his class, right? And everything's going fine. And then we hear... I see the principal standing in the hallway. Bro looked at PJ, pointed at him, and said,
You, come here.
Can I see you as my crush?
When Mr. PJ walked back in the room, I mean, we all knew, but we still asked him anyway. What did you guys talk about? Nothing. Huh. Must have been something, because he got fired the next day. And he deserved it. Because, bro, not even Diddy would do all that. Like, I'm sure if Diddy saw him, he'd tell him, like, chill out. Find God. And he did, because he works in the ministry now. That's right, he works in a church, and he's been working in a church. I just hope that he's not diddling any kids over there. I'm gonna ask you guys one question. Would you let Mr. PJ hit? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit that like button, share this video with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe. Bitch.